Hello, welcome to video number 2. We're going to be talking about how to find where a data set was used in scholarship. Scholarship is kind of tricky to discover because somebody might have used an educational data set in something like STEM engineering database, so I'll help you negotiate those things as well. First of all, let's go back to that data set research guide. One of the places you can look is the research guides, and we search for data sets. And we'll find Rebecca Cummings' guide. I'll go to that introduction for the frequently used. One that I wanted to look at, and this is where the negotiation comes in. And if you're looking for something and you're frustrated, contact me, dale.larson@utah.edu, and I can help you negotiate through this. This isn't something that I would recommend going through by yourself. For if you get frustrated, don't go at it for very long. This is something that we're supposed to help you with. There's a big one called National Education Longitudinal Study. So I'm going to go over to the databases. You can actually search for it here too. But if we're going to the research databases, I'm going to show you a couple different ways of going into the databases. One, you could go by subject. So if you're interested in education, that's one way to go. You could go into social behavioral sciences a number of ways. So there's sociology, social work, there's psychology. One of my favorite ones, if you go to social work as the tab, one of my favorites is called Sociological Abstracts because it's got a lot of the social sciences mixed together in this one. It's really good. So let's go and look for that data set. You can see my last search was test. National Education Longitudinal Study. I'm going to put that in quotes. National Education Longitudinal Study. If you did a Google search for this, by the way, you would find the data set, and there'd be lots of different neat things to look at. It's pretty cool how they set this website. Your results may vary depending on the one that you're looking at, though. When I put it in quotes, it's looking for it as a single phrase instead of looking for national here and study there and longitudinal there. So if you get weird search results, that might be one thing. When I'm looking for this doesn't have a common name, but if the data set has a common name and you're starting to find unrelated things, you might have to add more keywords as you go. But this one, it almost sounds like the name of something, doesn't it? So let's see where it shows up. Again, we're in sociological abstracts. It's a gathering of social sciences. And you can see different ways that people have been approaching it. Some are going to base an article on it. Some are going to cite it. Some are going to cite articles that were written about it. So this is where you have to dig in and see, are they actually going through this data for their results in the article, or are they just referring to something? I would try and narrow down, if you're struggling with something, narrow down and look just in the abstract. So instead of being something tangential, it would be like part of the main body of the article. But again, I can help you with that. The cool thing about these databases is, so there's 500 results, that's a lot, and I didn't attach any keywords to it. But you can already go through the metadata, and you can see when people were writing about it. These are the years produced. So if you wanted to narrow down to something that's happened since smartphones came out, so like 2007 onward, and it's churning through. But that might help to narrow it down. So there's socioeconomic status. You also capture keywords as you go through this. You can see it's tapering down. So the effectiveness of the data set, who knows why that's going by. You can also go into subject, and you can see why people wrote about it. I'm going to click more. And you can see why people are writing about or using this data set. And you're going to get into cool things like ethnicity, and all these things that might not have been the original intent of this longitudinal study. But I want to show you something else. So I'm going to go back even farther. So I want to see like all the articles that have been published since 1990. And I want to add some keywords. So do you remember in our contextual search in the last video, we added keywords. So I'm going to try. I don't want to do it in all caps. I do the all caps for the A and D, so it doesn't look for the word and. And I have to spell that. So if there was a search or research done, you can see that's one way of narrowing it down. You could also do mental health outcomes. And there's only 2 results. That's not a deal breaker. It just means that you might have to change your keywords or look at a different database. Oh, I wanted to do street food again. That's not going to show up. Let's try food. I know there's like a big initiative on school food programs. Yeah, there's 24 of them. So that would be how you would narrow it down. Just so you know, if you ever see this Find It button, it means that the article shows up in a different database. So we subscribe to many different databases. It's kind of like finding a link in Hulu that's saying, oh no, you got to go find that in Netflix. And here's the list of the other ones that you would find it in. If you ever struggle finding a full text article, let me know. Let me show you a different way of accessing some of these databases. I made a research guide for the Social Work, College of Social Work. Oh, there's my picture. That's not always going to happen. If you type in social work, you'll see my guide, Research for Social Work Practice, or you can just click on social work. There's 3 tabs, and I made one called PhD and Master's Help. And if you scroll down a little bit, this one right here is the area that I wanted to focus on. These are the greatest hits for social sciences in general. So if you don't get too far off into the weeds of different ways of looking at things, these are my favorite ones. PsycInfo is really popular. Sociological abstracts I just showed you. Education has had lots of research dollars poured into it, and you'll find that they refer to a lot of the data sets. If you're interested in the for-profit business folks, look at social sciences. Econ, PAIS is public policy. And then there's also some general ones. JSTOR is good for looking back in history and seeing what's been published for like 150 years or so. And Library Catalog will catch some of the books that show up as well. But I think you're supposed to look at articles, so for what it's worth. That is how you would find those things. And I will see you in video number 3. Let's see if I covered everything. I did. Okay. I'll see you in video number 3 for looking for impact and how to narrow down even further.